All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raquah Quadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the brothers that are doing this work in true sincerity. And we're going to jump right into the lesson. This is Hebrews 12:1. It says, wherefore seeing, let's get that little footnote. Since we also are compassed about, let's get that footnote. No, the footnote. Surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let's lay aside every weight and the sin which does easily beset us. Let's get that one. And let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Just get these here, perseverance. So it says, wherefore seeing or viewing that we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, because part of those witnesses are the angels. The angels are watching what we're doing. You being on social media, the YouTube, those brothers putting videos of themselves in the highways and hedges and doing sit-downs, that is a witness against yourself, man. Let us lay aside every weight. So we're putting ourselves out as men of the Lord, man. And that's a witness. That's a witness. People are witnessing that. The angels are witnessing that. People on YouTube, the elders are witnessing that. The viewers we get, they're witnessing that. So we have to be accountable for those things. The things that we say on videos and the things that we admonish and talk about on videos, we're going to have to be held accountable for those words. There's that saying, with great power comes great responsibility, something to that effect. So the power that we're given was the understanding of the scriptures, and the responsibility is to live by them. We're going to be accountable for the things that we say in our videos, and how we walk in our daily life. And that's a good way to walk, man, knowing that everything has a consequence and everything has an accountability. So wherefore seeing we also compass about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which is easily beset us. And the scripture talk about foolish lusts that can trap us or snare us into basically losing our glory. And the race that is set before us is basically the trial that the Lord has put upon every man in this truth. And as you see the days approaching, that trial is going to intensify. The accountability factor is going to be to a higher standard. The things that we do and say is going to be looked at more precisely. The sifting is going to take place. And if you've been in this truth, you believe in this truth, then you have to understand that we're coming close to the finish line. Scriptures talk about running that race. We're coming close to the finish line, man. Let's get that in the NLT. It says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sins that easily trip us up, and let us run with endurance the race Yahweh has set before us. We do this by keeping our eye on Mashiach, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith, because of joy awaiting him. He endured the cross as regarding the shame. Now we are seated in the place of honor beside Yahweh's throne. So going back to the KJV, it said, looking into Mashiach, the author and finisher of our faith, for the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, despising the shame, and sat down on the right hand of the throne of God. So Yahweh Shai, he always had that end goal in mind. He always had that vision in mind. Now, he was in flesh and he had weaknesses. He had weaknesses. That's proven in the account of the garden of Gethsemane, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. We're going to have those weaknesses. But Yahweh Shai, he kept his eye on the prize, man. He understood what he was fighting for. So you have to understand what you're fighting for. Let's get Matthew 10 and 37. This is Matthew 10 and 37. It says, he that loveth, and it's talking about the sins that easily beset us, or the things that easily beset us. You know, that's speaking of the priority that we have to place in this truth. You know, the brother once said, you know, you conform your life to this truth. You don't conform your truth to your life. You don't make adjustments, just, you know, compromising the truth's sake just so you can live a certain life or do a certain thing. That's off. It says, I'll start at verse 38, Matthew 10:38. He that taketh not his cross and follows after me is not worth me. That's part of that taking on the cross is denying yourself. Let's go ahead and get that word, Salak. Deny himself. Where's the search? This is Matthew 16 and 24. It says, then Yahweh said to himself, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross and follow me. So part of taking up that cross is denying yourself. Let's go ahead and get that word deny. To deny, affirm that one has no acquaintance or connection with someone, to forget oneself, lose sight of oneself or one's own interest. And that's sometimes a necessary, very necessary thing in this truth. Your own self-interest. You know, brothers can give you countless testimonies of their own desires and self-interest were basically forfeited for the sake of this truth. You know, brothers wanted to be different things in life or had different opportunities in life to be different things. And those things were forfeited for the sake of the truth. And the way the truth worked, it required that sacrifice. It required that you lose that job. It required that you lose that woman. It required that you lost that opportunity. You know, that's part of the denying of yourself, amongst many other things. So that's part of laying aside every weight, man. That's part of carrying your cross. The things that easily beset us or trap us or snare us. Let's go ahead and get Luke 8 and 14 that talks about, because part of that could be the cares of this world. This is Luke 8 and 14. It says, and that which fell among thorns, was talking about the seed, the word, are they which have heard, go forth and are choked with cares and riches and pleasures of life, and bring no fruit to perfection. And what did it list? It said, cares and riches and pleasures of this life. And those are the things that most often that you have to deny yourself of in the carrying of your cross. Let's get Romans, the 13th chapter. There's many scriptures that deal with this subject, man. It's just throughout all the scriptures, actually. It's an example of all the prophets, an example of all the apostles, example of all the holy men of the Lord. Self-denial. Romans 13:11. It says, in that knowing the time, that now times awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we are believed. The night is forspent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as a day, not of rioting, drugs, not in chambering, wanders, not in strife and envy, and all those things that, you know, the world calls pleasure. But put you on the Lord, Mashiach Yahushai, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Don't get caught up in the things of this world, man, or even your own bullshit. Because the scripture talk about the foolish lust, man, and we're going to go ahead and get that. 1 Timothy, the 6th chapter. It's around the 9th verse. It says, but they, okay, I'll start at verse, Salak. It says, but godliness, I'll start at verse 6, 1 Timothy 6 and 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing to the world, we are certain to carry nothing out. You're going to leave with nothing, you're going to die with nothing. You know, you might have $1 million in the bank, but guess what? You're never going to get to spend it. You might have different positions or possessions or things, status symbols, but guess what? They're not gonna mean nothing no more. And they're gonna even mean less in the time of great trouble. It says, "In having food and raiment, let us therefore be content." So the Lord promised to provide us with the necessities. But they that will be rich will fall into temptation and a snare. It didn't say that there's nothing wrong with having a rich, because the Lord does bless men with riches. But with those riches comes a snare and temptation, into many and foolish and hurtful lust, which drown men in destruction and perdition. So foolish and hurtful lust, something stupid can bring you to your fucking knees, man. Something ridiculous can take you out. It can bring you to a piece of bread. The scripture says a man by a whorish woman, a man brought to a piece of bread, roughly paraphrasing. But those things can take you out, man. Foolish lust, stupid shit. You know, and that's one of the reasons men fall out, because it's just stupid, prideful shit, man. You know, just dumb things. We've seen it happen. So these are things to be aware of, man. These are things that to watch out for in your walk. Let's get 2 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. It's a quick lesson here at the plantation. Second Corinthians 7:1, it says, "Having therefore these promises," you know, with all the other things that the scriptures promises to the righteous, to the obedient. "Dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from the filthiness of the flesh and spirit, and perfecting holiness in the fear of Yahweh." So it's talking about cleansing yourself from the filthiness of flesh and spirit. You know, your flesh the most definitely is filthy. And if you allow yourself to be in the flesh, your spirit can become filthy as well. Perfecting holiness in the fear of Yahweh, and that's the way you do it, by fearing the Most High. You know, by fearing His judgment. And we've seen judgment going forth, man. You know, we've seen the Lord bringing people into accountability. And that's what it is. That's what judgment is. That's exactly what judgment is. Judgment is bringing someone to accountability, to answering the question of, hey, why did you do this? Why did you do that? That's accountability. That's judgment. The fear of the Lord is bringing yourself into accountability, man. And that's what that's the mindset you gotta be in, 100% accountability to yourself and to the Lord, man. You know, these are things these are things the elect are gonna possess. You know, these are things that are gonna carry us through. One of my favorite scriptures is in the book of Psalms, let integrity. I'm gonna go ahead and get it. Psalms 25:21 says, "Let integrity, uprightness preserve me, for I wait on thee." And that speaks of having your accountability to yourself, to the Lord. But with that being said, just another quick lesson here at the plantation. Most I wouldn't hope is edifying. That I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Brothers, keep on pushing. Shalom.